My name is Jay Farros with Nebraska Farm Bureau. And I'm sure you're all aware, but Nebraska Farm Bureau's voting delegate session this year is going to be 100% virtual. It's going to be held on Tuesday, December 8th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is going to be a brief video that's kind of a tutorial for voting delegates to make sure that you can get connected, discuss and vote on policy resolutions, and also vote on our board of directors for our organization. The first thing that is important is you will need to make sure you have the requirements to get connected to our Zoom webinar for the delegate session. You will need to have internet speeds that are a minimum of 1.5 megabytes per second upload and download speed. That's pretty standard. Most any cell phone connection will get that, and most any internet connection, probably dial-up doesn't work, but everything else should work. Also, each voting delegate is going to need to have some form of device. So even if you're joining as a group for 2 or 3 people, each delegate has to have their own device where we can identify who you are. This will allow you to vote on resolutions and elections, but a device is simply a desktop or a laptop computer, a tablet, such as an iPad, an Amazon Fire, a Samsung Galaxy, Surface Pro, etc. Numerous tablets will work for this, but then also a smartphone will work as well that you can get connected onto our delegate session. We are going to offer 3 testing sessions this week, so we can test your connection speed, also to make sure your device is up to par with what we need. Those are going to be Tuesday, December 1st at noon. Also on Thursday, December 3rd, we're going to do 2 sessions. One's at noon and the other one is at 7 o'clock p.m. We'll be conducting those sessions. We'll practice everything there is that will be going on during the delegate session. But if you have any technical issues during the testing session or during the delegate session itself, please contact Phil Erdman, 402-421-4406. He'll be there to answer any technical issues you may have, help get those resolved. In order to get connected, a couple of things that you need to know as a voting delegate: you will receive 3 emails from us. The first one will be just your registration. We are expecting to register everybody on Monday, November 30th. You should get an email confirmation of your registration. And then we will have several reminder emails. There will be 2 of them actually. One will be on Monday, December 7th, which is 1 day before the general session, and then also 1 hour before the general session. So roughly about 9 o'clock a.m. on December 8th, you'll get another reminder email. Don't lose these emails. All 3 of them will contain a link for you to get into the delegate session. This is your ticket in. This is the only way you can get in as a voting delegate. Any of the 3 will work. We won't allow 2 people with the same name to be registered voting delegate. That's just simply credentials and keeping the integrity of the organization. This is a sample of what the email will look like. It just says, thank you for registering. And then you will see down lower in the screen over in here, it says, click here to join. This is your link to join. Now, it also has a passcode. Now, if you have a computer that doesn't have a microphone on it, you do have the ability to call in on your cell phone to any one of these numbers. And then there's also a code here for the number of the meeting that we're in. The best is if you have a tablet or some sort of device that you have microphones and a speaker on, then that works the easiest and is the simplest way to do that. And what happens if you don't get that email on Monday the 30th? Well, first of all, check your spam or junk folder, because a lot of times they just simply end up there. And if you find them, you have it, move it over to your inbox. But if you don't get it, if you can't find it, contact Autumn Jacobs. There's her email address and her phone number. Tuesday morning, the delegate session, check that email, get that email, open it up. Sometime after 9:45, click on that link. We will go live at 9:45 Tuesday morning, and that is Central Standard Time. 10 o'clock we are going to start. If you joined before that, it's just going to say wait for the host to start the meeting. During the delegate session, you're going to see a screen that is similar to this. Up in the top left-hand corner, it says Zoom webinar. We will be sharing a screen of the resolutions we'll be talking about. You'll be able to see a picture over here. It won't be of me, but it will be of Steve or Mark. At the time, the chair of the meeting will be over here. The resolution we're discussing will be appearing here in this area. There are 3 buttons down at the bottom I want you to take a look at. So if those aren't there, you may have to scroll over it. They'll pop up. But you have a chat function, a raise hand function, and a Q&A function. These are your areas to be able to communicate with us. So if your chat function will open up a box that's like this, you can type a question down in here. Hi, I have a question, or something that's going on you need us to know about. When we're debating resolutions, simply raise your hand. You'll go into queue. We'll see how many people are in line, and we'll take the order of you raising your hand. The chair will call on you, will unmute your microphone, allow you to speak. You will need to unmute your microphone as well, and then you'll be into the discussion to where you can debate the issue or any parliamentary motion or amendment that you need to use at that time. Another button that's down on the lower part of your screen down here is the QA button. And that will pop up this screen, and that also is another place for you to chat with us. We'll be monitoring that. You can ask us questions. We can type back, answer your question. If you put it here, everyone, all of the attendees, all of the panels will be able to see it. And so if it's a simple question that maybe everybody needs the answer to, we can type the answer back and everybody can see that as well. So those are the 3 basic ways for you to communicate with us during the delegate session. Once the debate has ended on each resolution, the chair of the meeting will call for a vote, at which time we will put up a poll question, and this screen will pop up on your screen. It says polls, and it says vote on the resolution. Do you agree with the resolution? Yes or no? And maybe an amendment that we're talking about, but whatever it is, this is how we will vote. You select either yes or no, come down here and click the blue submit button, and that casts your vote. Once you've clicked submit, you cannot change your vote. All votes are anonymous. We won't know how anybody individually voted, but they will tally up and we will have an end result very quickly. A couple of things to remember about the delegate session. We want every resolution to be debated and have you have the opportunity to have your voice heard on every resolution. But in the constraints of time, we've separated these into 4 different areas this year. The first one is policy resolutions on consent agenda. Okay, this is new language or maybe amendments to existing policy, but it's new language. They're probably non-controversial and don't require a lot of debate. And so they will be discussed as a block. They'll be voted on by a block. And so we will take how many ever there are, we will just vote on them as one. And so one motion will approve all those resolutions. We will also discuss reaffirmation of policies. Those are set to lapse, but we want to keep them in our policy book. And then also the lapse policies. All 3 of those will be consent agenda. With consent agenda, any voting delegate can request any item in those 3 areas to be pulled from the consent agenda, at which time the chair will automatically pull those items and they will be discussed either right after the consent agenda items or at the end of the non-consent agenda items. And then the 4th item is policy resolutions that are non-consent. Those items are going to be just like every resolution we've had in the past. They will be brought forward by SLPC, the State Legislative Policy Committee, and they will be open for debate and discussion, amendments, and then after debate, we will go into the voting as I showed you earlier. The next thing to follow up with is elections. And elections will be handled similar to our voting on our resolution. First thing that will happen is we will have a report from the nominating committee. They will present the candidates that have applied for those positions. The chair will then ask for any nominations from the floor. And at this time, if you're a voting delegate, you can raise your hand. You can nominate someone from the floor, and at which time they will be added to the election screen. But once the chair calls for a vote, choose the candidate, click submit. Once again, your vote is confidential. So that's just kind of a quick rundown of what it's going to look like next Tuesday on December 8th. We want to remind you about our testing sessions. We will be doing 3 of them this week on the 1st and 2 on the 3rd at 12 and 7 p.m. Anytime this week, if you have any questions or technical issues, please contact myself. My phone number is listed there, 421-4409, or contact Phil Erdman, 421-4406.